All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, Universal Mastery. Glad to have you here. In our today's video, we are talking about how to let go and live the life that you truly deserve to live, step by step. This is something that so many people are really struggling with in our today's time, and I want to help you understand how to work with this so that you can truly live the life that you truly want to live. And I like to see myself as an example of someone who has done this and is currently doing this and is experiencing a lot of very wonderful things that come out of it. Okay. And it's, of course, it's a continuous journey. It's a continuous process, and I'm learning new things every day about it. But there's a lot of stuff that I am doing right in these regards. And the way that my life is evolving is showing that as feedback. So I want to be able to share some of these things with you. Okay, so when it comes to letting go, one of the first and most important things that we have to look at with this subject here is we have to ask ourselves, why are we not letting go? What is it about where we might be in this moment that is keeping us from potentially being even able to let go? There's a lot of people that I know that are struggling with letting go in general. So what this is usually going to come down to is it's going to come down to control. You want to have some sort of control over the world around you. And of course, within yourself too. So you might find this form of control showing up in the form where you're attaching to certain states of being. You're attaching to certain identity, certain belief systems. You're attaching to certain relationships externally, certain habits, unhealthy coping mechanisms. All of these things are supporting a sense of familiarity that gives you control. But the only problem is that this identity that you are building on, that you're holding on to, that you're attached to, is no longer congruent with your authentic self. Your authentic self may very likely be going through a very deep, visceral change and a very deep, visceral shift. And it's so important to allow yourself to flow with that shift that is taking place. And this is literally where letting go comes into play and becomes so vital in order for yourself to continue evolving in more so of a harmonious way. So the first thing that we want to do, really, to be able to fully let go, is we want to first have the understanding that, you know what, we may very well be attached to certain parts of ourselves that we are forming identities with because we are afraid of the unknown, and we are afraid to basically feel the emotions that may be underneath the surface. So if you can at least have that level of self-reflection and that level of understanding of yourself, that's a great place to start with this. Okay, so the next step that we want to do is we want to understand the identity it is that we are attached to. We can start separating from it so that this identity doesn't have to think that it's us either. So we want to create a little bit of a separation from what we're holding onto to try to get that control. We want to create a separation from that to our central self, to who we actually are at the core of our being. And that simply can look like recognizing that you are attached, recognizing that you're holding on to certain things, that you have these different belief systems, and then maybe even sort of communicating to this part of you, letting it know that it's not all of you. It's just a part of you that you're holding on to maintain some sense of safety that you think you need. That's a really important thing to do. Now, the next step in regards to letting go is to make sure that we're not demonizing this attachment, that we're not demonizing this identity that we're holding on to. We want to understand the reason why we're attaching to it is because we're trying to protect ourselves. But the way that we're protecting ourselves with this attachment most likely isn't actually healthy for our system. But it's where we are right now. And to the best of our understanding, this is what we thought that we needed to do. And this identity, this part of ourself, doesn't have bad intentions for us. So even though you might find yourself attached to a part of you that is kind of causing a lot of pain and suffering in your life, and it's capping you off in regards to what it is that you're able to create and how you're not able to be who you actually are and express yourself in all the wonderful ways, that part of you just wants to protect you. That's why it's identifying itself with you. And that's why you're identifying yourself with it. So approach it with acceptance, approach it with compassion. We're not going after this like we have to destroy our ego. We have to attack our ego and get rid of the ego because it's bad. We don't want to demonize this part of us. We want to understand that this part just needs love and it needs compassion, but it needs reparenting. It needs to understand that it's not you. It's only a part of you. It's not the whole you. So approach it with acceptance. Don't go after it like you got to get rid of it and you got to destroy it or fight against it. Because if you take that approach, you're going to go up against a lot of resistance that I promise you're not going to win the battle. Because when you fight yourself, you can never win. Think about that. I'm going to say that one more time. When you fight yourself, you can never win. Because you're always going to lose because you're fighting yourself. All right, so let's approach it with that compassion that's needed. So with that being said, the next step after we have the education of what's going on, after we see this part of us and recognize it's only a part of us and that we're attaching to it, and then we approach it with acceptance and compassion, now we can start actually pulling away from it. Now we can start getting enough trust from that part of us to return back to our core. This is the process of where we're really starting to let go now. So we might notice there's certain sensations that manifest in our body when we're trying to control things, when we're trying to hold on, when we're starting to get in this little energetic rut where we're always in survival states, or maybe we're just flooded with these really heavy emotions and we feel like we're shutting down or we're freezing. We want to start to realize the sensations that manifest in our body when these things are taking place. Where am I feeling this energy on my physical body when this part of me is really active and is sort of taking over my nervous system? Maybe you feel a tightness in your head. Maybe you feel it in your neck and your shoulders. Maybe it manifests in your chest or in your stomach somewhere. Pay attention to the sensations and don't try to get rid of the sensations and don't try to change them. Just be with them. And then the next step is you want to become aware of what the emotions are connected to the sensations. So what are you then feeling at an emotional level when these sensations start to manifest? Once we've connected with these things, now we can start actively letting go even more. So when we notice a belief that comes up that doesn't feel authentic to where we actually are, we can see it, observe it, but not attach to it. We just release it. We let it go. We let it stay as long as it needs to without attaching, and then we let it go when it needs to go. Whereas maybe the old version of us would see these beliefs and immediately want to grab onto them and start running with them or start taking actions from that belief that then takes us through, let's say, a cycle that is very familiar to us that doesn't really get us to where we want to be or isn't really truly authentic to who we truly are in the moment. So rather than attaching and running with that belief, let's just observe it now and choose to let it go. Let's make the decision to release it. All right? We're going to do the same things with thoughts. When random thoughts come up, you might have a thought that tells you something really negative. You might have a thought that tells you this person's looking at you and they want to backstab you. They want to, betray you. Rather than just attaching to the thought and then running with it as if it's completely true, We're just observing it now. And we're choosing to let it go. We're making the decision. This is a decision to let go of the need to control this. Because if you want control in this situation, then what that's going to look like is you're going to attach to the thought, and then you're going to create a reality that affirms that thought is real. That's how powerful you are as a person. That's how powerful your nervous system is, and how resonance functions, and how the mind can do these things. We can literally create self-fulfilling prophecies on things that we don't really want to be experiencing in our life. And then we're sitting here unconsciously like, why is my life shit? Why am I so stuck financially? Why are all my relationships so unhealthy? Why am I addicted to all these unhealthy coping mechanisms and I don't know how to resolve this stuff? We're creating these things. And a lot of times we don't know that. And we're doing it because it's patterns of familiarity. We're doing it because it gives us control. Even though it's painful, it's giving us a sense of feeling like we're in control. So when we know this, we can start choosing to let go more. So you might have that thought that comes up when you see that person that somehow deeply triggers you and makes you remember something from the past where you were betrayed and you were abandoned. And now you're looking at this person and you want to believe that they're going to do it to you. But that's your opportunity to choose to let that go. You can experience the thought, connect with the emotion and the sensation that's rising up behind it, but then make the decision to say, you know what? I can let this go. That is going to be your doorway to a much deeper process that's going to be taking place underneath the surface for yourself. Like, this is going to help you really return back to your core again. And it's going to take time. So don't expect this stuff to happen overnight, because I promise you, it's not going to happen overnight. So we're doing that. Now, this becomes a daily practice. Now that we're letting go of certain beliefs that are no longer congruent, certain thoughts that are no longer authentic to us, now we're going to start letting go of habits. We're going to start letting go of relationships. We're going to start letting go of environments and lifestyle factors that are no longer resonating with where we are. So if we have addictions to substances, if we have attachments to unhealthy people or social circles, if we are working a job that we absolutely hate and keeps us stuck in this survival state, we are no longer feeling like we need to attach to this and hold it anymore. We're starting a process, a gradual process of releasing and letting go. And that doesn't mean you just quit your job and then you're done with it necessarily. I mean, that could be an option for some of you that feel like that's what's right. But what it means is you're now being authentic when you show up to these things. When it comes to unhealthy relationships or substance abuse, that requires a process of, pulling away from those things and shifting those things out of your life so that you can reintroduce healthier relationships and healthier coping mechanisms. When it comes to a job that you might work, that means you start showing up as you now. You're not going to show up as the you that had a whole belief system and attachment identity to the job that you're doing or to the role that you have. You're now letting yourself go with the flow more, and you're being more authentic as you show up. You're feeling your emotions, you're feeling your sensations, you're still choosing to let go while you're still at work. And what you might find is that your resonance changes so much at your job that maybe you end up getting let go, and maybe you end up manifesting an opportunity to get a new job that's more congruent with what you're experiencing before you even get let go. Maybe your job starts assigning you to a different role to even do within the company that gives you more room to breathe and more room to honor your process. We don't really know what that's going to look like as you go through it, but all I do know is that when you honor this process and your resonance changes, it's going to change the world around you regardless, because this stuff is happening within the deep unconscious and subconscious mind. So this is the keys to letting go. Awareness, self-reflection, observation, connecting to sensations, emotions, making the lifestyle changes. And then from that point, it becomes a daily practice. Every single day you wake up from bed, you're going to approach your day from that state of, I don't need to control this. I don't need to attach to anything. I just need to be present. I need to feel what I'm feeling, connect to sensations, and know that that's okay and that I am good enough here. And also know that everything is based on my internal system and everything manifests externally in accordance to my internal resonance. So as I'm honoring this process, it may feel like I'm losing control. It may feel like I'm stepping into the complete unknown and everything's going to get lost and I don't know what to do. But in reality, you're honoring your process at such a deep level, and that's showing yourself such a deep level of self-love that you can expect things to work out in the world around you to support your process of self-love. This is the key step-by-step process of everything you need to know to honor yourself by letting go. All right, so hopefully this video was able to give you some perspective on everything it is that I'm talking about here, because I really do think that this is important information. All right, so with that being said, we're going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed this, thumbs up, drop down into the comment section. Let me know what it is that you feel like you need to let go of. I really want to hear that. Hit the notification bell and get notified whenever I post this content, because tons of valuable information I am sharing on a daily basis. So take advantage of it. Subscribe to the channel by subscribing. You're further energetically connecting to everything it is that I am teaching. So make sure you tap into that. And then copy and paste this link and send it to someone that you feel like needs to hear this. If you know someone that would gain value from this, I encourage you to send it to them. So go ahead and do that as well. All right, check out the Patreon. It's the first link below. You can't miss it. This is where you're going to gain access to exclusive content. There's literally over 1,500 active Patreon members, and that speaks for itself. I have collection sections that are extremely organized that give you step-by-step processes to follow to go through your self-development, all the way from spirituality and high-level occultism that is trauma-informed, all the way down to trauma education, doing shadow work, and how to create a foundation to regulate your nervous system. I encourage you to look into that. Okay? Tier number 3 and 4 of the Patreon is a ritual service that I perform, which is the only ritual that I personally do for anyone, and it's for my collective. It's an energetic transfer from me to you to support you through the deeper layers of working with your unconscious, subconscious mind, so that you can start integrating your shadow self, so that your shadow self can become your greatest ally in your everyday life. It's going to help you with the emotional processing. It's going to help you with creating a foundation in your daily life to, support all of these things. And with time and commitment to yourself, you're going to notice a lot of healthy changes taking place in the world around you. I've done this ritual for a little bit over 4 years now, and there is tons of valuable feedback that I get from the people that receive it, that have shared with me how much has shifted on an internal level since receiving the ritual service. So if you're interested, take advantage of it before this month performance. Deadline is the 28th. We'll leave it there. First link below. Second link is where you can book a one-on-one call with me. If you would like to work with me one-on-one and get to know me, I'd be honored. And if you want to do mentorships, I would also be honored. This is the most intimate way to work with me. And what we do is we're going to go very deeply into your own trauma history. We're going to start working through some of those things. We're going to create a foundation for you specifically to help you process that stuff and regulate your nervous system. And then once the foundation is in place, if it's something you're interested in, we can start getting into occult initiation, and I can guide you through that process as well. So all of that is in the second link below. Now, also in the same second link below, this is going to be where you can book a tarot card reading with Alexia. She is such a gifted tarot card reader, and she's very intuitive at what she does. I have received feedback from multiple people that got readings from her that let me know it was the best reading that they've ever received in their life. So if that's something you're interested in, look into it. Second link below. Third link is a Lucifer's Foundation course. This course is going to give you everything you need to know to develop a relationship with the energy that is known as Lucifer. Okay? Fourth link is my YouTube memberships. This is going to be where you can join the Universal Mastery family. And I would be more than happy to have you a part of this family, because that's exactly what we are. We're a group of like-minded individuals that come together to support each other through the deeper layers of working with the deep unconscious mind. And as I said, I would be absolutely honored to have you a part of the family. You're also going to get access to early content releases and exclusive content as well, if that's something that you are interested in. And then the fifth link is going to be the book recommendations that I have for you. All right. With that being said, this is going to wrap it up. I appreciate all of you. Peace.